The reason that this goes on the streets and the protests is because people feel like they're not part of the process. Concealing it and hiding it from the public is not the way to do this. Their argument, the state's argument is, well, you know, we need to do this because somehow it's going to make the jury's going to not know about the case.
In the opinion of former Baltimore prosecutor Andrew Alperstein, concealing information from the public in the case of autopsy of Freddie Gray is not the way to settle unrest and protest. Recall that just last week we praised Boston police for releasing footage of a suspected terrorist shooting and getting the public on their side seemingly within hours of the incident. Now Marilyn Mosby, the current Baltimore state attorney, wants to deny a serious level of transparency, leaving everyone on every side of this issue to wonder, what is she hiding? Let's rip into what's behind the curtain. Welcome from the law offices of O'Brien and Ryan in Philadelphia, the legal eagle, Heather Hansen. Heather, it's always a pleasure to see you.
Ed, always great to see you too.
Let's get to it, because this actually smacks of a lot of people wondering why. Because she wants to not, now I get this, she probably wants to make sure that not a lot of evidence gets out there beforehand, I guess. But people, aren't they going to be wondering about what she's trying to hide here?
Well, yeah, especially since she came out and was so vocal when she announced the indictments. She didn't just simply state facts, she made an argument, and she put some of the evidence out there. And to do that, just giving half of the information or half of the evidence just isn't fair. It's not fair to the public, and it's not fair to the defendant police officers. Eventually, all of this is going to come out. She claims that she doesn't want the case to be tried in the media. It's a little too late for that. When you've started us down that road, you certainly shouldn't then be able to put up the stop sign.
And there apparently is a long-standing practice here. She's broken this by not giving a copy of the autopsy report to Baltimore police, which again is something that I think is very outside of the norm.
Well, that's right. And again, you state the important thing. It's a long-standing practice. It's a long-standing practice to provide that information to the police, which then makes it most often available to the public. It's a long-standing practice also to provide a lot of the other information that she's asked there to be a gag order upon. Listen, she's done a lot of things that are out of the norm. Right now, there's a motion pending to change the venue so that this case isn't tried in Baltimore, and there's a motion pending to have her dismissed. She has not replied to those and has asked for more time, despite the fact that you'd think that this is all that her office has been working on since the day this indictment has been sent in.
In your opinion, has she made too many mistakes already to this point that would lead for her to be taken off the case or lead for this to have a change of venue?
The change of venue, Ed, is a very, very strong argument. This is a very small jurisdiction with a small jury pool. It's not a large one like you saw in Boston with the Boston bomber. In addition, the news there, not only the news of the Freddie Gray incident, but also the riots that followed it, permeated the entire area. So, and the timing of this trial so quickly after the riots, all of those under the Supreme Court decisions on this particular issue lean towards moving the venue. I think that the defense has a very strong argument there. With respect to her recusal, it's a less strong argument. My concern is that this issue, the racial problems that our entire country has been having with regard to police, the relationships with police, is too important to have even the slightest shred of impropriety. And to my mind, over the course of her representation in this case, there has been more than a shred of impropriety.
All right, something else here. 15 Chinese nationals accused of cheating the college entrance exam system with a scheme, fake passports, test-taking imposters here. What's the legal ramifications of this, Heather?
Oh, you can serve quite a good deal of time. There's wire fraud charges here, there's conspiracy charges here, there's counterfeiting of passport charges here. It's also very interesting, the assumption of the prosecutor here is that this is a much bigger deal. Right now there are only 14 people who have been indicted. I think they anticipate to find a lot more people who are ultimately going to end up in the court system over this particular case. And it was interesting, I saw today that in China they're using drones to be sure that there is no cheating there to get into the college exams. So I guess they come here, and since we don't have the drones, might be an easier way to get in.
Oh, but hang on now. Somebody's just given somebody an idea. It'll happen sooner or later. Trust me. We managed to copy what the Chinese do sooner or later, so we'll manage to get to this as well. 45 seconds left. The parole board is recommending that Oscar Pistorius, who got a 5-year sentence in the death of his girlfriend, be released in August. Doesn't this smack of celebrity shortening a sentence simply because of who he is?
You know what, Ed, it really isn't. The way that it is in South Africa is after you've done 1/6 of your sentence, you are eligible for this type of parole. And that will be the date, I think it's August 21st, that he will have completed 1/6 of his sentence. It is actually not outside the norm. Now, the parents of the deceased have argued that they think he should spend more time in jail, but I anticipate that he will be released. Remember, though, there has been an appeal by the prosecution. So if that appeal is granted, he may yet again face murder charges.
All right, it's about time we got you back on the show here on a regular basis and started to take apart some of this legalese here and make sense of it as only you can do it. Heather, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Absolutely. We'll see you again next week.
Good to see you, Ed.
Thanks so much. All right, take care. Coming up next, there was a time in this country when one man ruined hundreds of lives by basically lying, and it was all about what was then called the Red Menace. It's next, the anniversary, right here on Midpoint.